I am calling the meeting to order. Clerk, call the roll.
Councilmember Cosarelli? DePena?
Here.
Graziano?
Here.
Notari? Here. Councilmember Rovell is ill and will not be attending tonight. Mayor Melham?
Here.
We have a quorum.
And
Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Sunshine Law?
Pursuant to the requirements of the Open Public Meeting Act, Chapter 231, Public Law 1975, known as the Sunshine Law, notice of this meeting was published in the Thursday, December 21st, 2023, editions of the Belleville Times and Star Ledger. The Sunshine Law was complied with by adopting and forwarding to the press, posting and filed with the municipal clerk, the annual resolution showing the date, time, and place of each meeting. A copy of the annual meeting notice has been posted on the township website and also on the bulletin board. Before we continue, Mayor, the members of the public, the ABC hearing that is on the agenda for tonight has been rescheduled for June 11th at 6 p.m. We're doing it?
The time will be determined.
That time will be determined, but it'll be for June 11th.
So that is item number 15, new business, Mayor and Municipal Council sitting as the ABC Board. That's not going to be happening. It will be next meeting,
Next meeting.
Yes.
which is the
Next
Wednesday
date of the
meeting.
We don't know what time.
Usually we do it 30 minutes before the, yes, it's the attendance. Okay.
Is anything outside?
I'm sorry, Albert, you did the sunshine?
I did.
Okay, the next item on our agenda is items 5 and 6. With the council's permission, I say we push those forward to the end of the meeting where the ABC meeting was, and just move the meeting forward. Are we okay with that? Yep, good. So 5 and 6 will happen in place of number 15, right around new business. Moving on, number 7, work session. Work session is traditionally our first meeting of the month. This happens to be our only meeting this month, which is why they're not normally on for the evening. I had a couple of other items on the agenda that I did push to the next meeting, which is our proper work session, which is the first meeting of the month. We do have 2 items on, one by our township manager, one by our township attorney, and one by Councilman Graziano. First up, number 7, is our township attorney, Mr. Martino.
Yes. I put a tax map by your places. You'll see a highlighted area on that tax map. It's an area off of Division Avenue at the intersection of Union Avenue. It's a lot that borders 5 lots on Union Avenue and 5 lots on DeWitt Street in the rear of those properties. I've been approached by one of the property owners seeking to purchase that property. It's a township-owned property that abuts these properties. It's not a buildable lot. For the most part, it's landlocked. There is a driveway or an opening that cars could go in. This individual wants to buy it. Obviously, as we have done in the past, we can't just sell it to him. We have to offer it to all property owners after I get it appraised. I just want the council's authorization, whether it's okay, we want to sell it. I don't think we use it for anything. And I would then get an appraisal and offer it to the abutting property owners, including the individual who has an interest in purchasing it. So I just want council, if it's okay, to proceed with that.
I'm okay with that.
that's good.
Okay.
It's a sliver of land. It's not a buildable lot. It's just a sliver of land in between 2 different lots with access.
I don't even know what it was ever for and why it's there, but
We have a very similar street just above that, Union Avenue to New Street, New Street to Reservoir. There's a paper street, they call it, that goes, like a dirt road that goes behind it.
Yeah.
That's the beginning of
this is an
another one.
actual lot that serves no purpose. So I'll proceed with that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, next item on our work session is Councilman Graziano. Do you want to?
No, the mayor, I'll push that off to the file, to the next meeting.
Yeah, the next meeting is actually our work session. So Albert, my 2 items, along with Councilman Graziano's items. Next item on our agenda would be number 8, which is the report of the manager. But before the manager gives his report, I do see a lot of new faces here, and it's actually a welcome sight to see people here that we don't normally see. So first of all, welcome to our council meeting. I do have a sneaky suspicion as to why many of you are here, and we appreciate your comments, but please do understand, this is a working meeting. This is a council meeting where this governing body has a job to do. We have items before us that we have to deliberate on and decide on and vote on. You will have your chance to speak during the public commenting portion of the meeting, but I just have to remind everybody, cell phones please off. We can't have disruptions during the council meeting. We do have during public commenting a certain decorum that I'll go over prior to, only because I see so many new faces here. And we're going to get to that portion in just a minute, and I'll give some more further instructions just before we get to that portion of the meeting. So from now on, we are going to continue. Again, this is a working meeting for business, and we do have some things to accomplish before we get to public commenting. Next item on the agenda is the report of the manager.
Mayor and council, certainly a brief report tonight. We are still accepting applications for summer jobs for our youth. Our summer camp application, it's a new application. It's a little more detailed from previous. It's about 7 pages, and that application is going to go out. Remember, if you recall, last year we did a couple of things different, and we came close to 200 campers for the first time. So we're pretty excited about that. This year's summer camp includes a trip to medieval times, Liberty Arts Center in Jersey City, so it should be an exciting year. Last week, we had a vehicle auction. We had approximately 8 vehicles. They were all 20 years plus older, so we only netted about 10,000, but it's good to get rid of some of that stuff out of the Public Works garage, and obviously that was an additional $10,000. Also on the agenda tonight, you'll see two contracts, the BMEA and Local 1412, which is the supervisors union. This puts us in line with all of our bargaining units to expire on December 31st, 2025, which I think would be certainly a feather in our cap moving forward. And last but not least, we will have a flyer up on the internet very soon. We are offering a pickleball clinic again this spring/summer. We'll probably do at least 2, possibly up to 4 sessions. That was big success last year, and we anticipate doing that again.
Coach Andy coming back?
Andy.
Yeah.
Andy is not coming back. He moved on to New York, but he did give us a pickleball pro.
So I do have a suggestion that I've heard from people that took the classes last year. I know last year we did beginning level classes. This year they'd like to see at least a session of like intermediate pro on what they did last year. But I mean, the slots filled up so fast, I don't see an issue with booking extra sessions. That's going to be at the municipal stadium? Any idea when the new pickleball courts will be done?
No, we were down at Plantstone Park towards the end of last week. It's moving. Certainly, it's not moving as quick as we would like it to be, but we are definitely making progress, and I'll certainly get a target date at the next meeting in June.
Okay, next, moving on. Next item on the agenda is item 9, the report of the mayor. So as I normally do, I like to cover upcoming events, past events, and some news. So upcoming events, this Sunday begins our first farmers market. This farmers market is not going to be one time or once a month. It's going to be every single Sunday throughout most of the summer. So we expect it to start slowly and build up. It's going to be at the Municipal Stadium Complex from 10 a.m. to 2. Next Tuesday is our primary day. Wednesday the 12th, is going to be our next council meeting, which is the first council meeting in a month, which is also traditionally our caucus meeting. July 3rd, a lot of people have been asking about the township's Independence Day celebrations. This year, it is going to be on Wednesday, July 3rd. That will be our fireworks, our activities for the kids, starting at probably 6 or 7 o'clock at night, as well as some other events happening during the day. Usually we do things like yoga and all kinds of stuff, but more announcements on that as we start finalizing that will come forward. July 4th will be on, that's the holiday. The only thing happening so far on July 4th, which is currently tentative, would be the reintroduction of our color run. I know that was a really big hit when we did that. We will be working with Nick who originally did this to raise awareness for autism. The Township Community Policing Department will be working with him to make sure that that happens again. And Wednesday, a lot of people asking about our upcoming summer concerts, Wednesday, July 10th, which is going to be basically a week after our Independence Day celebration. Wednesday, July 10th will be the first concert. Those that schedule, as well as the types of bands, will be published shortly, but please know Wednesday, July 10th, the first one. Past events, we had some great Memorial Day ceremonies yesterday, 2 to be exact. Township always honors our history, our veterans, and yesterday was absolutely no different. Tuesday, April 30th, we had the Essex County Home Improvement Program. There were 2 dates for that, April 30th, Home Improvement Program, and May 4th. If you don't know much about that, since there's so many new people here, $22,000 worth of free grants to actually repair your homes. It's not too hard to qualify. We have information here at Town Hall. It is a free $22,000 grant. Chimneys, windows, roofs, whatever you may have that needs fixing in your home, as long as you qualify. The income threshold is not all that low, I guess. So if you think that you may not qualify, I would definitely take a shot at it. You very well may. Wednesday, May 8th, we also had a senior freeze information session. Any seniors that are here, most people don't realize the state will freeze your property taxes, and they will pick up the difference. Great program, costs you nothing. A lot of people are initially suspicious of that program. It is a real program. We hosted an information session at the Senior Center last Wednesday. News, the township has received $78,000 worth of grant money for clean communities. That is an upgrade from the last 2 years. I did mention already that Wednesday, July 10th, we'll begin our concerts. The schedule will be released soon. Also, summer movies. So not only do we do summer concerts every single Wednesday throughout July and August, once a month in July and once a month in August, we also do a movie in the park. That'll probably be on Wednesdays. Not sure the exact date yet. Traditionally, those are movies for children, so those are always fun dates. Also, the township has launched a brand new we like to call it report of concern. So potholes, any kinds of issues that you may have or you see, graffiti, potholes, any issues like that, rather than emailing somebody or calling and saying you can't get somebody on the phone, we have that app available. It's called GoWebs. It is branded on our website as Gov Outreach.
GoGov?
GoGov. It's branded on our website as Gov Outreach. You can download the app. You can take a picture of something and send it right in. You can track it. Works very, very good. Almost done. Applications are now being accepted for Belleville High School students and college-age students to apply for seasonal summer jobs. We do give out a lot of senior jobs around here. If you have not applied for it yet, on behalf of your children, please do so. We have opportunities in DPW, opportunities clerically here in Town Hall, as well as working with our new and improved, as you heard, summer camp program. Last, Belleville was recently recognized once again for the 3rd year in a row as a healthy community to watch. That information was published on our website and our social media. Questions, council members, for myself or the manager? Nope. Okay. We are going to move on. Next item on our agenda is going to be the approval of minutes.
Need a motion.
So moved.
These are approval of minutes for April 23rd, 2024. We have a motion, and we need a second. We have a motion, and I heard a second. Clerk, call the roll.
Councilmember Cosarelli? DePena? Graziano? Notari? Mayor Melham?
Yes.
Minutes of April 23rd, 2024 are approved.
Next item on the agenda is communications.
St. Anthony's of Padua Church is requesting permission to conduct the Flores de Mayo procession on Sunday, May 26th from 2:45 p.m. to 5 p.m. Luis Muniz and neighbors are requesting to have the streets closed on June 11th for the Belleville Crew Kids annual end-of-the-year ceremony from 2 p.m. to 10 p.m. I don't know if this is the correct, Jennifer?
That's correct, Jennifer.
Jennifer Pless is requesting permission to host a block party on Celia Court between Celia Terrace and Overhill Road on June 22nd from 10 a.m. to 10 p.m.
That is actually open to township residents. Jennifer every year hosts a Juneteenth party on that date, on the Saturday, I should say. Okay, so those are 3 communications, all good. Next item on the agenda is ordinances. We have ordinance 11-24, ordinance for possible adoption, an ordinance to amend the revised general ordinances of the Township of Belleville, New Jersey, Chapter 8-16, entitled Handicap Parking Spaces. I need a motion to open public commenting.
Make a motion.
Second.
We have a motion made and second to open public commenting. Clerk, call the roll.
Councilmember Cosarelli? DePena?
Yes.
Graziano?
Yes.
Notary? Mayor Melham?
Yes. So we are open for public commenting on this ordinance and just this ordinance only. So if you're here for other public commenting, we're going to get to you very shortly. This is just about the handicap parking ordinance. Hearing none, seeing none, entertain a motion to close public commenting.
And adopt?
Jeff, do we know of anybody? Is that the public line? Do we have anybody on the public line for the ordinance on handicap parking spots? Okay. All right, hearing none, seeing none, we'll entertain a motion to close and move for final adoption.
I think he had made a motion, right?
John made a motion?
Second.
Naomi, second?
Councilmember Cosarelli? DePena?
Yes.
Graziano?
Yes.
Notary? Mayor Melham?
Yes.
Ordinance 11-24 is adopted.
Next, ordinance 12-24, ordinance for possible adoption. An ordinance approving the Second Amendment to the financial agreement by and between the Township of Belleville and 91 Terry Street Urban Renewal LLC. I need a motion to open public commenting.
Second.
We have a motion made and second to open public commenting. Clerk, call the roll.
Councilmember Cosarelli? DePena?
Yes.
Graziano?
Yes.
Notary? And Mayor Melham?
Yes. We are now open for public commenting on this ordinance and this ordinance only. Just like you're going to see, everybody for the future, if you do have a comment for the council, just going to ask you to please raise your hand. I'll call on you. You'll see that you'll come on up. You state your name and address for the record. Ms. Fleischman?
Hi, Carmela Fleischman, 833 Main Street. In regards to this, what is this amendment to the financial agreement?
They're just extending the financial agreement and the continued, I'm going to call it a penalty. He's paying $17,500. The last agreement expired, and he wanted to extend it. So the township's modifying the agreement so that he can continue to complete it, but at the same time paying the township $17,500.
That was my next part of the question. So you're extending the agreement so he can continue to work, but you're not letting him off the hook. He's still paying any fines that if he was supposed to complete it by March 1st.
Correct.
Since he hasn't, you guys are still fining him. Okay.
It's not a fine, it's an agreement because we're not allowed to fine him, but we don't, rather than terminate his agreement, which would really create problems for everyone, he's agreed to pay $17,500 mainly because the building is not on the tax rolls yet when it should be.
Gotcha. Okay, that's it for this part. Thank you.
Anybody else? Anybody else for this ordinance and this ordinance only? We live on the phones? Anybody on the phones for this ordinance and this ordinance only? Hearing none, seeing none, we'll entertain a motion to close and move for final adoption.
Second.
Motion made and second to close and move for final adoption. Clerk, call the roll.
Councilmember Cosarelli? DePena?
Yes.
Graziano?
Yes.
Notary? Yes. Mayor Melham?
Yes.
Ordinance 12-24 is adopted.
Ordinance 13-24, ordinance for introduction. Ordinance of the mayor and the council of the Township of Belleville, County of Essex, New Jersey, adopting the 143 Valley Street and 254-256 and 258-260 Washington Avenue non-condemnation redevelopment plan. I need a motion to introduce.
Second.
We have a motion made and second to introduce. Clerk, call the roll.
Councilmember Cosarelli? DePena? Graziano?
Yes.
Notary? Yes. Mayor Melham?
Yes.
Ordinance 13-24 is introduced.
Ordinance 14-24, ordinance for introduction, an ordinance amending chapter, 37?
37.
My Roman. An ordinance amending chapter 37 entitled Recreation Program Fees. Need a motion to introduce.
Motion.
We have
Second.
a motion made and second to introduce. Clerk, call the roll.
Councilmember Cosarelli? DePena?
Yes.
Graziano?
Yes.
Notary? Yes. Mayor Melham?
Yes.
Ordinance 14-24 is introduced.
Ordinance 15-24, ordinance for introduction, an ordinance amending personnel positions, salaries, wages, and compensation amounts and rates. Need a motion to introduce.
Second.
Motion made and second. Clerk, call the roll.
Councilmember Cosarelli? DePena?
Yes.
Braziano?
Yes.
Notari? Mayor Melham?
Yes.
Ordinance 15-24 is introduced.
Next item is ordinance 16-24, ordinance for introduction, an ordinance amending and supplementing Chapter 27, towing and storage of the Township of Belleville Municipal Code. Need a motion to introduce? Motion. That's at 27, not Roman numerals. Motion made and second to introduce. Clerk, call the roll.
Councilmember Cosarelli? DePena?
Yes.
Braziano?
Yes.
Notari? And Mayor Melham?
Yes.
Ordinance 16-24 is introduced.
You. Next item is item number 13, public commenting. I need a motion to introduce.
Make the motion.
Second.
We have a motion made and second to introduce. Clerk, call the roll.
Councilmember Cosarelli? DePena?
Yes.
Braziano?
Yes.
Notari?
Yes.
Mayor Melham?
Yes. Okay, so we are now officially open for public commenting. As I said at the beginning of the meeting, I know a few more came in, so I'm going to kind of just reiterate a little bit. This is the portion of the meeting where you have a chance to speak. We do have, in order of the way that we do things, I'm only repeating this because I see a lot of new faces that we haven't seen before. So this is the public portion comment. To ask you just to please raise your hand. I'm going to call on you, going to need you to come on forward, state your name and address for the record, and you have 5 minutes to speak on what we hope is township-related news or business. And again, this is public commenting. So I understand if you're here for the first time, it's not a back and forth conversation. It's not really a question and answer time. It's literally public comment. It's a time that you can come forward and put your comments basically on the record to be heard, to make sure that it's memorialized before this governing body. I will give a couple other parameters before we do so. Knowing the reason why I think some of you are here, if not most of you here tonight, at this particular event, in our form of government, and just to lay some ground rules out, in our form of government, we are considered governed by the Faulkner Act, and there's a specific portion of that act called the council manager form. In this, the CEO of the township is the township manager. That person makes all personnel decisions, and most almost think of him like the CEO. We are the board of directors up here. We vote on the items that are in front of us. There is absolutely nothing on today's agenda that pertains to a specific department or restructuring any department. Sometimes there is, and we've done that various times with other departments. There is nothing on our agenda today about personnel because this governing body doesn't vote on individual personnel decisions. That role falls to the township manager. We have no authority or we have no way to overturn a decision made by the township manager once that decision is made. He is hired as the township manager, the full-time professional that basically is the CEO of the town that runs the day-to-day operations. We all have lives outside of this building for the most part and come in here and vote on policy and legislative decisions. Most of you probably know that stuff. I just kind of want to set some of the parameters. Again, I will say, a lot of people here, we want to get to every single person. I do need a sense of order throughout the meeting, so I can't have shouting from your seats or any kind of disruptions. Keep in mind that we do have a lot of people here. I want to get to everybody. We do have children present. We want to make sure that we're all show a good example of what good government looks like. And with that being said, I just need a hand, sir. Just come on forward. Chief, is that microphone on? You just state your name and address for the record. You do have 5 minutes.
My name is William Cannon, and I reside with my family in Birchwood Drive in Belleville. And I'm here today, or I should say we are here today, to demonstrate our deep concern regarding Friday's decision to remove our Recreation Director, Tom Augusta, from his post. In the past 24 hours, more than 1,000 signatures have been added to a petition calling for the reinstatement of Director Augusta. These petitioners are adamant and emphatic that they view the director's removal as unwarranted and unjustified. The dismissal of Director Augusta would serve as a tremendous loss for the entire community. The brunt of the consequences would be particularly severe for the young men and women, the boys and girls of Belleville, whom he mentors tirelessly, generously, and with a selfless commitment that I have never seen in a public servant. Director Augusta has served the people of Belleville for nearly 40 years. 20 of those years spent as a police officer in town, putting his life on the line every single day to make sure the residents of Belleville were safe. For the last 16 years, the director has been at the Recreation House making an impact on the young people of this town. In all the years that my own 4 children have been involved with the Recreation Department, he is yet to miss a single contest. Not one. The young kids on these teams are not oblivious to his commitment to them, nor are their parents. He attends their games of his own time, of his own accord, for one simple reason: he genuinely cares about our kids. I am not a lifelong friend of Director Augusta. I have never been to his home. I do not know where he lives. But when my own two 10-year-old boys and their teammates heard the news of the director's dismissal, they found his neighborhood, tracked down his car, and went to his front door to let him know that all the affection that he had showered them over the years was not unnoticed or unappreciated. It was a two-way street, and they wanted to express to him a loss they were already experiencing. Every kid in this town, after a big win or a tough loss at one time or another, has received words of encouragement or wisdom and solace from this man. You cannot fool 10-year-old kids. They know when someone truly cares and speaks to them from their heart. What an amazing gift for all these young people of our town. Our kids genuinely love this man, and they could have no better advocate on the fields and courts of Belleville than Director Augusta, which makes the decision to remove him so perplexing. The direction of the Recreation Department is ascending. I have the pleasure of coaching a travel baseball team in town that Director Augusta and the Recreation Department has been supporting for 4 years. These kids are amazing. The team has not lost a game this year. The boys are as close, they're like brothers. What a wonderful sense of community this provides us. It wouldn't have happened without Director Augusta. And I know we're not unique. The recreation basketball and football teams have shared a similar exceedingly positive experience under Director Augusta's steady guidance. I am hard-pressed to think of a more ill-advised change in leadership, or one that could be more unrepresentative of the townspeople's views than Director Augusta's dismissal. In reading carefully citizens' comments online, I am staggered by the sheer numbers of fellow citizens who find the director's removal unconscionable. It is patently clear that a great many of our neighbors view his dismissal as a decision that was made without proper consideration of the consequences for our kids. Removing Director Augusta clearly does not reflect the views of Belleville residents. The vacuum created by Director Augusta's absence would simply create too unstable a situation, and one which is entirely unnecessary when things are moving in such a positive direction in town. We do not need to subject ourselves to such turbulence, disruption, and divisiveness in a town which in so many ways is headed in the right direction. While no man is irreplaceable in the township of Belleville, Director Augusta comes very close. And so we respectfully request that the township reinstate our recreation director and work with him as the council sees fit, or by your direction as the town manager sees fit, to address any concerns or issues that may exist. This is surely the best course of action for our town and its residents. It's the right thing to do for the children of Belleville. Let's allow cooler heads to prevail. Please reinstate Director Augusta. Thank you for your time. Thank you.
Anybody else for public comment? Ma'am?
Sure.
I hear some feedback.
Dr. Liz Massagia, 285 Adelaide Street, or should I say the forgotten 4 of the 4th Ward. You know what I mean. I would like to preface my remarks by saying I am not here tonight as an elected town official. I am here as a taxpayer, as a homeowner, and a parent of a young man who I'm proud to say has played ball for the rec department for, I don't know how many years? Since Peanut League, and still continues to play. They have a playoff game tomorrow night. It is really a sad day in Belleville when you replace the cheering of parents for their children playing rec ball with the selfish desire for control. Sad when kids who love and respect a man who is not only a coach, but a mentor and father figure to many of them, have no answer as to why he will be suddenly replaced. What answer can you give them? Look them in the face and give them an answer, because we have no answer for them. Is it not enough that your lust for power, and I'll look at both of you, has won you the planning board, the zoning board, and minus me, the Board of Education? Sad because your insatiable appetite for money and control comes before the people, but most especially the children of this community, the very ones you all took an oath to serve. I am hopeful that Mrs. Guardabosco will do as she claims, be an independent, not bow down and do the mayor's bidding, which when the new council is seated in July, may very well leave you without control of the council. Is that why you need control over the rec? Because one of your other minions needs a job? Mr. Mayor, Mr. Manager, Mr. Martino, members of the council, it's time to put the children and the taxpayers first, and your own petty politics aside. Remember, it could be you on the chopping block, or as you may all too soon find out when election time comes around. Remember the pink? It beat you twice. When election time comes around again, be voted out. Voters don't forget, and we certainly won't forget what you're doing to our children by firing our rec director. Rescind your action. Let's all play nicely.
Anybody else? Anybody else in public commenting? Carmella.
Tough act to follow. Good evening again, Carmella Fleischman, 833 Main Street. Two questions. The first one, at the last Board of Education meeting, Dr. Tomko said he contacted the mayor and town council 3 times for a meeting to discuss more school kids in the town for the development, and for the future development. Is this true? Was a meeting set up or, not set up or,
I'm not aware of any meeting about, there really wouldn't be a meeting about, there really wouldn't be a meeting about school kids for new developments. That's a myth and a fallacy that we've talked about and we've proven with numbers that that's just not
Okay, yeah, like I
reality.
said, as he's going out in a
Sure,
blaze,
he's got a lot to say.
as
He's going
in a
out.
blaze of glory, this is, the things that are coming up to, to find out. Now, obviously, there's a lot of people here for this situation. Again, I don't have a dog in this fight. Okay, but if the number of people that showed up for this particular, situation, would it have been nice that everybody shows up every time for a council meeting like this? I would love to see a room full like this all the time. Again, I don't have a dog in the fight, but whatever the reason was, whatever the situation was, I think for the town, for the good of the kids, everyone says we're doing everything for the kids, and that's great. We're doing baseball fields and all this. If you're truly about the kids of this town, if this gentleman has been affectionate and, helpful and, coaching and mentoring, whatever the situation was or is, I think it really should be, looked at again. Again, what is the point of having people, give of their time if they're going to be turned around and, bounced out? And a former police officer, really? You're going to do this to a former police officer? How bad will that look for this town? You know, with all the things that, you know, the council and the mayors are trying to do with the events, and that's great. Everyone's trying to move forward. Why give the town such a black eye if, again, I don't know the full situation? You know, and again, I understand you can't go into full details, whatever. But again, I would really look at the situation because we keep doing all these programs for these kids, and that's great. If you turn around and throw the rec director out for whatever reason, you really think that you're going to get the numbers that you're getting this year or next year or the following year? Why would parents want their kids to sign up if they don't have a rec director, or if they don't have, you know, stable environments and things like that? So again, I would reconsidering the situation. Thank you.
Anybody else for public comment? Ma'am?
Phyllis Frantantoni, Mount Prospect Avenue. My kids are all grown, and they are coaches. And let me tell you, when the director is good with the coaches and with the kids, it means a lot. If they can't respect what you're doing to this director, that's not good, because you can make or break a kid with what they want to do. I mean, a kid could be all happed up. He loves his coach. He loves the director. You put somebody in there that doesn't have that feeling towards these kids or towards the coaches, there goes your rec department right down the tubes. So think about what you're doing. I don't know the situation, but I'm sure things can be worked out because you've worked them out with other people in other situations that have happened within the town. And I'm sure you can work it out with this particular man. And there's just one more thing I'd like to ask. Down by the dollar store on Washington Avenue is the, I don't know, is it called Rise, the cannabis place? Are we going to put meters in there in the front so people can pay a meter when they go there?
Yeah, they're scheduled.
All right, I hope it's scheduled fast. And think about what you're doing to these kids.
Thank you. Anybody else for public comment?
Ariel Draws, 95 Bell Street. Just to touch off this subject for a moment, the bike safety, I'm still disappointed again. It's like the third time in a row that I have to watch the kids on bikes. You give them a safety course and they drive in helmets. What caught me the most was one woman on a bicycle with a toddler with no helmet. And if somebody gets hurt, then they're going to say, why didn't everybody? So I'm just bringing it up again as this is the third year. Now, I'm not blaming you. I'm just letting you know. I'm just putting it on record.
You're sitting right next to you.
I'm putting it on record. Okay. This Oprah, you know, you could just watch it on YouTube and you'll see it. But I witnessed it personally. The Oprah, I assume that you're supporting this Oprah law that the state wants to gut, correct? There's an
I
Oprah
think we did sign off.
swift passage
Yes.
that you're ratifying it, okay. There's another resolution here authorizing establishment of a green team. Why can't you wait for the new council to come on and let them make some choices? Why are you ratifying it today? You lame duck committee.
Mario, if you're going to ask a question, you have to give me time to answer.
I know, you always answer me after we're done, so I'm waiting
I'll give you the
till
extra
after we're
time.
done, because you always cheat me out of minutes. So that's the reason for that, so you could bring that up. Then you could just give me the answer on the budget transfers. And then we're going back to what these people are here for. You made a comment about the council manager form of government, and I think I'm in a position to know a little more about it than you. Because I was on the council before you when we initiated the council manager. And you're going to try and convince me that these people that get hired and fired, no one else has input in it? Oh, they do not, right? But when I looked at the salary ordinance today, and I looked at all the people that are connected with you, family, friends, I'm not going to mention their names right now, and how did they conveniently get that job? One of your close friends, when the manager first got hired, 5 days on a job, and guess what? This woman got a job. Wow, isn't that strange? After 5 days, he knew who this woman is. And I have a whole list of I'm just waiting for you to pass the salary ordinance so I can see how much all your friends got in salary increases. Now, then, I've just been seeing a pattern of selective employees getting shafted. I'm not going to mention names again. One poor girl just got demoted and got a $20,000 pay cut. Oh, but nobody knows anything about that. But Tommy Augusta has been around a long time, and if anybody needs anything on Sunday, he's the kind of guy that will come out on his own time, and all I want to know is why was he let go? It's not a personnel issue. He's not fired. He's not suing you, so why can't this be openly discussed?
Thank you. Are you done, Mario?
No, I want an answer. I still got a couple minutes.
As I mentioned to everybody, and you've been here many times, it's not a back and forth, Mario. If you have your comments, you can put your comments on the record.
That's right. And you know it's the Faulkner Act, you're full of it.
Thank you. Anybody else for public commenting? Mr. Sir?
Vincent Frantantoni, Mount Prospect Avenue. Mayor, it's a shame that something that negatively affects our children had to finally bring to light and expose you for what you are. You knew this was going to come about to hit you, and so you made the statement at the beginning of the meeting, in our form of government, it's the manager that makes all decisions and all this up. Yet, for 6 years, you, at every meeting, you're the one that says, I did this, I did this. Your Facebook page 24/7 goes with me, I did this, I did that, I got the food truck thing, I got that. But now tonight, that you knew something negative was coming, all of a sudden, oh, not me, it's the manager's fault. This is your MOS, and it's sad, you know? Hopefully, tonight, and the last election, a few days ago, you know, when you lost 2 out of 3, hopefully that's the beginning of the end for your reign here, because we're tired of what you've been doing to our township, all right? And in regards to someone else mentioned control, you got bragging about your Better Belleville crew and all that. Well, there's a picture I have of Better Belleville crew all on the stairs of the apartments down on Main Street and all, and I looked at the picture, I've been checking off the heads, more than half of them already on the town payroll. Compliments of you, all right? And more to come. So is this a move to get another one of your people in the rec department position? And just so the public knows, right here, a couple of years ago, a developer came and said, the rec house is old. I want to build, I think he said 30 or 40 apartments on there. So just be aware, folks, they're trying to take the rec department and that site away from us for development. And it was stated here, it's not a rumor that I heard, right here the developer spoke at this microphone. Now, if you take a map of Belleville and you cross the four corners, the rec department is almost dead center in town. It's a perfect location. Number 2, it's also a historic site, which our Historical Preservation Commission don't know what they're doing. One of the members got up here and says, we have no records of the historical site. I was on that commission. There was a whole list produced by Essex County in the 80s. We transferred all them things to them, so I don't know. But be aware, folks, they're trying to take that rec department away from us for a developer to build high things. Enough said on that issue. I think that attendance here tonight shows what the people finally realize what Mayor Mellon, oh, he's not a council, I'm not a manager, is doing to this town. Now, just something my wife and I brought up for years on another subject about all the Comcast and Verizon wires hanging all over towns discontinued. We've asked for help. You haven't done anything for years. Well, on May 1st, I called the BPU and made a complaint at 1:30 in the afternoon. At 3:30 the same afternoon, I get a call from Comcast. Oh, we made a complaint. We'll take care of it. At 6:30, I get a call from Verizon. Oh, we heard you made a complaint, and what's the problem? I just got all these hanging wires and a pole that was never removed right by my driveway. Oh, we'll take care of it. Very next morning, Comcast come, removed all the dead lines, fastened their hanging lines properly and all. A few days later, Verizon comes. All their dead lines and other houses and all, they discontinued, cut them all out, taped everything up, and remove the pole that's been sitting there dead for 8, 9 years. So, we got all these councilmen, all you do is talk, nobody takes action. There I got action in less than 6 hours. And I have before and after pictures I'll bring to you. It shows how nice, with the 2 poles with all these, I call them black spaghetti hanging all over town. And you guys do nothing about that.
I do need to
And
wrap up, Mr.
finally,
Mendes.
yes, the last thing is, you put all new meters in, and when they're originally installed, we could use apps, credit cards, and coins. After a few months, you took the coins away. People have been complaining, they want to run in for something, they don't want to use their credit card and then get an extra 13, 14 cent charge on it. So, again, I've been asking you for a year and a half, restore, all you have to do is take that plate off, let people use coins again. Or are you just using it so you can get their credit card information? All
That's
right?
it. Thank you. Anybody else for public commenting?
Good afternoon. Luis Alfredo Pinedo, 242 Belleville Avenue. I believe I'm representing all these people right here. Same as
I do need, Sir, I'm going to pause your time for 1 minute. I'm not going to handle these interruptions. So we're going to try and keep the meeting going forward. I do want to hear every single person. I'm not going to tolerate these
Luis Alfredo
interruptions.
Pinedo.
We're going to need to go forward. I want to hear every single person. We're not going to keep stopping the meeting. So I appreciate everybody coming forward. One thing I didn't mention, I just need you, sir, to address the governing body. I can't have you turning around and giving speeches to the audience. I just need you to be here, and I really got to move. I got to move the meeting forward because I want to hear everybody out. Thank you.
Well, I'm just trying to express my feelings, and I'm sure they are feeling the same way I am. And you heard a few people about the same thing, so I don't need to speak about Mr. Augusta. We all know who he is. We know the kind of person he is. You know him too, okay? Mr. Iacono knows him too. But you brought this up. He's the CEO, right? So I have the right to question because I live in this town, so I am a stockholder. And I have the right to question these decisions. And I would like to have an answer.
So
Where, when, how would I get an answer?
So the-
Why this is happening?
I'm going to try and give you the answer I can give you tonight, sir. As I've
Okay.
said before, this governing body doesn't make those decisions. We have no vote to change that decision. You do have a right as a taxpayer, like every single other person does, to set up a meeting with the township manager. He's here from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. You can call his office, email him. If he has the ability at that time to share with you, I will say 2 or 3 people did stand up here and say that they're not quite sure why this happened. And I would say that nobody on that side of the room is really aware of why it happened. So I would love for everybody to reserve judgment until the township manager has the ability to speak. We're not quite sure when that's going to be yet because matters of personnel, as most of you know who have jobs and HR departments, it's not an easy process. It's really not. But you are absolutely right, sir. As a township resident, as a taxpayer, as a stakeholder, you do have the right to do that. I will say, this happened late in the afternoon on Friday. I would say that maybe 50% of the governing body up here is not fully even aware of the situation yet because this was a long weekend and today's the first time that we're all together. But you do have that right. You can email a township manager. You can set up an appointment, especially somebody that's a volunteer or a coach. You do have a vested interest in that, and whatever he has the ability to share with you, he can at that time.
And if I don't get an answer, can I come to you?
I don't have the ability to give you the answer, sir. I
No?
wish I could. I do.
Well, again, the reason why I'm saying that because it has happened, and it happens many times when the town does not answer our questions. So this is something very important. We're not taking it lightly. Looks like
I understand.
you guys are taking it lightly.
Oh, no, we're
yes, you are, because you're not giving it a good reason. If you will respect this man and our opinion, you will stand up and say something about this.
Thank you.
But you're not.
I'm
You're
not
just hiding behind his decision.
Sir, I'm not going to allow you to insult this governing body.
I'm not insulting. I'm being very honest, sir.
Do not have the ability to give you.
Probably I will lose my job today because what I'm saying.
No, sir.
I'm going with Mr. Augusta, I guess. But I just want to make sure you understand that we are very upset with what's happening.
You're
And
on
we
record,
need
sir.
answers.
You're on
We're not just going to let it go. We want answers.
Okay, you're on the record, sir. Thank you. Anybody else in public comment? Motion to close. Anybody else in public comment then? Yep.
Hi. I think everyone else knows me here. Nelsie Payano, 40 Rossmore Place. It's evident why we're all here, and we're very confused why this is happening. So I just wanted to put my thoughts into place because I don't want to go into a tangent. I want to make sure that it is clear why we are all here. I am here today, as many of us here are, in support of Tom. It may be that the decision to fire Tom was without understanding the gravity of this decision. I am here to help you all understand how important Tom's role is to all of us, because perhaps you're not aware of all his selfless sacrifices, which is very emotional to me, by the way, because I had a personal relationship and everyone here did also. And he had many experiences with our kids and the devotion to our community throughout his lifetime. The decision taken will essentially impact every child in this town, along with coaches, the bonds that he has created with every child, parent, and coaches that have been built over time. His ability to connect with the kids and the community is not something that is taught. It's an innate and it's irreplaceable. No one can replace him. Tom has, as many of you guys know, have been embedded in this community for over 60 years. Tom was a police officer for 20 years until he began coaching over a decade ago. As a Belleville resident of 60 years and the commitment and sacrifice he put in and day out at all hours of the day, there should have been at least a warning out of respect for him and his family. Giving him time to help him rectify and improve in areas that needed improvement, if any. Mistakes are errors of judgment, not a reflection of the person that they are. It is what you learn and how you react to the mistakes that will show others who you really are. We are all guilty of human error. Everyone here is. Everyone here. There are two positions, rec leaders and a clerk, that have not been filled since Danny passed away. We could have reconfigured the position to assist Tom execute his job properly, or put the prospect candidate that you have in mind into one of those positions to help with future transitions close to his retirement. We, the people, elected everyone here before me because we put our trust in you. And we, the people, know that you will make the right decision now, having knowledge of who Tom is and how valuable he is to this township. The sports teams are not only thriving under his leadership, but the confidence in these kids here have skyrocketed due to his support. We're asking for your support in providing role models for our student athletes. Belleville Recreation has been heading the right direction. We need to continue to move forward. I know most of you here, and I know that your hearts are in love for the community, and it's in the right place. And we are asking for you guys to reinstate him back into the position, because that's where he belongs and that's the right thing for you guys to do. So I know that you mentioned that you didn't have a say in it,
We don't have the authority to reinstate Nelson.
but the fact that the conversations haven't been talked about since Friday, and a lot of you, as you mentioned, were in
Members of the
knowledge
general
of it.
public aren't aware of our
Well, everyone
conversations over
here,
the weekend.
everyone in, well, I mean.
You're
with-
not. You're not. I mean, our conversations that happen between us and the township manager are not on social media.
Right, not in social
Not. So you
media.
don't know what the conversations have been like on this side. You really
Right,
don't.
but you just mentioned earlier today, just a few minutes ago, that you were privy of that
Mm-hmm.
Friday night, and that happened Friday in the afternoon. So I think that
Town manager
conversations.
updated the council on Friday.
Yeah. Just, I need you guys to do the right thing, because
I understand.
he's very deserving of that position. He's been in that leadership for over 10 years, and he deserves to be there. And we all have made mistakes, and I'm sure that whatever that mistake was could be rectified and perhaps reconfigured where he stays where he's at.
Thank you. Thank you for your comments.
you.
Anybody else in public comment? Chief, can you lower that? Can you lower that? He's good?
I don't need it.
All right. Speak loud.
He'll grow.
I'm just going to say a couple of words. Tommy was the best person I've ever met, and it crushes the kids' hearts. Tommy is gone. There's many good coaches, but not like Tommy. If you had the time spent and you would really know him, the real side of Tommy. And it's just wrong of what you've done.
Thank you. Dad, we just need his name again. I'm sorry.
That's J.P. Cannon. He lives with me, so we're still at Birchwood Drive.
And this young man, your name, sir?
Hello, my name is Lawrence P. Vanderbilt. Today, we are here for Tommy. Tommy is a human being, former officer and resident of this town. He was at every single baseball game for us since we all started playing. Tommy was here before I was born. He is a great human being. He has bring us to Yankee, Mets, and New York Jets games. So we asked to bring Tommy back.
Thank you.
Hello, my name is Isaiah Ramirez. I just have one thing to say, to please bring Tommy back.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Do we have anybody on the phones? Just want to check the phones. Do we have anybody on the phones for public commenting? Oh, 1 minute, ma'am. 1 minute. Okay, ma'am?
Yes.
I just need you to come on forward.
Okay, thank you. Hi, my name is Alzara Mayo. I live on 23 Terrace Place, and this is my grandson. Tom used to manage him along with the rest of his team, and my grandson rounded up about 5 or 6 kids one time, and any chance that he got, all his friends, to join in the activities. He's been on baseball, basketball, football, and whatever, the soccer also. And under Tom's supervision, he encouraged him, and he also was a mentor to him and all the children. So what I want to say is I'm very emotional, and I don't want to be too long either, because I want to stand for Tom. I want to be one more person on the petition, and I just want to bring him back.
Sure, thank you.
We love him. You have something to say? You want to tell him to bring him back?
Anybody else with public commenting?
Yes.
Please.
Yeah, you can just talk. We'll hear you.
I'm going to go down a little bit. Go ahead there.
Please bring back Tom.
Thank you.
Thank
very
you.
much. Anybody else with public commenting? Ma'am? Oh, I'm sorry.
What? I didn't see those things. I just
Okay.
saw the-
Hi, my name is Catherine Garcia, 27 Perry Street, and this is Brandon, my son. I'm listening to you speak, and I'm getting emotional. I know you say that there's nothing that can be done.
I
That you're
didn't
not
say
aware.
that, ma'am. I really didn't say that. I said there's nothing we can do. I
That you
didn't say-
don't make decisions here.
Right.
Can I just
Something can
speak?
still be done, though.
I am hoping, I supported you, and I am hoping that you can support me, my son, and this team, and all these people here. I know Tom, and I can't imagine that he did something so horrible that it couldn't be resolved with a conversation. I cannot imagine. I call this man Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, no matter when, he answers. He answers texts, phone calls, and I am not the only parent. All of us do it. He knows every kid in here by name. Who's gonna do that? Who cares? Who cares? You know what? I recognize you. I supported you, and I recognize you. You are a great man. I know you from wrestling. Brandon's first year, very encouraging to him, as Tommy was. He's played in baseball, wrestling, football. He's hard on himself with sports. And Tommy has always been there, cheering him on, encouraging him. And this is the absolute worst thing that can be done. This is a community. You can't have a community by ripping it apart with one person, and he's not the only, there's many, but one person that everybody loves. What could have possibly happened? I cannot even imagine that it's, I mean, look at what crowd it is he's brought here. You know, I'm asking you, please, please, to reconsider. Please. I'm here asking, please. Okay? For all these kids here.
Thank you.
Brandon, do you want to say something?
Please bring back Tommy.
Hello, my name is Robert Cannon, and I live on 161 Birchwood Drive. I've known Birchwood Drive.
Same address as the other 5.
Yeah, I got a lot of kids.
He's got 4. He's got 4.
I've known Tommy since I was about 6 years old, and each time I met him, he was always the kindest person I could ever meet. If I wanted something or help with something, he would always help me with it. And I just ask you guys, please bring Tommy back, because it's something all these kids would want and all these kids need. So I'm just going to ask you, please bring him back.
Thank you. Thank you. Anybody else in public comment? In the back, ma'am? Yes.
Lady Amparo, 57 Fairway Avenue. I'm here. Oh, 1 second. Okay.
I'm sorry, just repeat your name and address again for us.
Lady Amparo, 57 Fairway Avenue. I'm here with these people pleading our case for someone with power to reinstate Tom Augusta as Belleville Recreation Director. Tom is always there, 7 days a week, morning, night practices, he's always there, and he's there for the kids, not for photo ops like some other people in office. I'm not sure if any of you guys are aware, there is a petition going on online, change.org. I had started the petition just yesterday at 12:15 p.m. As of 2 p.m., I printed the signatures. There's about 965 names in here. It's over 1,000 now when I checked at 6 p.m. I printed this for you guys. If I can come forward. I will. 1,064 now. So hopefully that number will have some power to overturn this preposterous decision. I have some comments here from people that unfortunately cannot be here. These are comments from the petition. I will say them as long as I have time. G. Staniski, Tom is the best. He loves what he does, and it's all for the kids. S. Polk, Tom is an incomparable advocate for our kids, our families, and town. All of our 4 kids have thrived with the rec under his leadership, and my husband, as a former coach for baseball, football, and basketball, has the greatest respect for him. Having seen Tom's behind-the-scenes involvement, he makes himself available 24/7. The kids love and trust him. He inspires them to give back as well. My son, once involved in football, baseball, basketball, and wrestling, is now returning as a coach himself. That is what Tom models and inspires. He deserves all the best and should be able to continue his legacy of exemplary leadership at the rec. E. Torres, Tom was my baseball coach for travel ball and rec ball. Taught me so much about the game that no one has ever taught me. If there should be a resigning director, it definitely should be him. The amount of heart he has for every player on the fields, whether it's baseball or not, is insane and much appreciated. Thank you, Tom. Jay Renna, Tom is an amazing leader for these kids. He treats these kids as they were his own. No one will do a better job than him. Tom goes above and beyond for this town. He works day in and day out. A. Lucy. Tom Acosta is without a doubt a valuable township employee. He takes his job extremely seriously and does it very well. Tom has always been available to the parents and kids of Belleville. He can always be found working in his office and attending all rec department events. I can't imagine anyone who could do a better job than Tom. K. Schwint. Bring him back. C. Garcia. I'm signing because he deserves the same support he has consistently given to many of the kids in Belleville, including my own. He is selfless and doesn't deserve to be fired after all of the time and energy he has given to this community. B. Capalbo. The kids in town need him. L. Costigan. You will never find anyone to work harder for your children. There's a lot more, but
You still have about 30 seconds.
okay.
To wrap up.
G. Colello, as a mother of 3 kids and having them enrolled in all sorts of activities from the rec for over 10 years, I can assure you there's no one better or capable to do everything Tom does, almost by himself for our kids. I guess the town is not that worried about the kids after all. It's all about power. What a shame.
Thank you. Anybody else for public comment?
Sorry, give me a minute. You want to come up or not? So my name is Christina. I live at 16 Bellevue Court. So I just wanted to make 2 comments. When I was pregnant with my son, Tommy allowed me to have my baby shower at the rec house, which I don't think anybody else has done in any other towns. He did provide me with diapers, wipes, clothes, and my son's not even on any baseball team, football team, anything like that. So I don't think any rec director would ever do that for someone like Tommy did. My oldest is on travel. Sorry. And just Tommy's always there for us. And I think if Tommy does come back in his position, I just want to make sure he is able to be Tommy. And he's not put on so many restrictions that he has to be like a robot and not be the person he was prior to this decision. I think that's our main thing, because if he's not allowed to be there for our kids, what's the sense of having him back when he can't be 100%?
Thank you.
That's all.
Okay, thank you. Anybody else?
May I just ask one question I'm getting from the boys? This is my first civics lesson in a long time, and they look to me as a leader, as I'm their coach, and I don't know how to answer this, but I'll tell you what they're whispering to me. You can't fool 10-year-old boys, and they want to know, since you guys had nothing to do with this, their question, and I'll tell you exactly what the boy said. He said, who do we throw under the bus? And it's you, Mr. Iacona, that they want to throw under the bus, right? So it's you they have to appeal to. No, I'm just asking a question.
I need you just to address me, though. You can't point at anybody up here and say.
Okay, well, I'm not pointing, but I'm trying to understand for not just my own boys, but for everyone, that if they need someone to rescind this decision and change it, we shouldn't be looking at you. We should be looking at your town manager. And I guess as my civics lesson proceeds tonight, I have recourse if I don't like the decisions that you make as my councilman.
Sure.
I can vote for someone else.
If I could answer that question.
What do I do with your town manager if we don't like his decision?
I'm going to answer that question for you. So this governing body, the mayor and council, we have say in only 2 positions in the township manager and township attorney. Those are our 2 employees. So if you don't like enough of the decisions, not just one decision out of 5 years, but if you don't like enough decisions of the township manager, that is a reflection on us, and you can take it out on us.
So this is a simple thing. This is a town where I coach baseball. Baseball, you were a baseball player. It's a game of failure. I tell them you're always going to get a second chance. I heard a mother come up here before and say, listen, everyone here at some point in their lives has been granted a second chance. A lot of us, big second chances.
I get it.
I think that this is a man who, with this kind of support, if anyone deserves a second chance, this guy has got to be at the top of that list. He's a good man.
I do thank you for your comments, but the second civic lesson is you only get one chance.
I appreciate it. Thank you for giving me the second chance. I appreciate it.
Anybody else, ma'am?
At least when you speak, they can kind of just start making their way towards the
Okay.
Okay. He beat you to it. That's fine. You can come forward, man. Go ahead, buddy.
Um, Dante Armstrong and bring back Tommy.
Thank you. Yeah.
Good job, Dante.
Hi, everyone. My name is Onika Paralon. I live at 9 Acme Street. Listen to everyone. This is bigger than Tommy. My son was here, played soccer since he was like 4 years old, 5 years old in Belleville. Now he plays for Cedar Stars, and he still plays under Alfredo on the travel team. So we're very invested in Belleville. But this is bigger than Tommy. This is about transparency. And Miss Icono, I'm going to give you a story.
Ma'am, you could say it.
Okay.
Just, you got to address us. Sorry about that.
So talking about second chances, I also coach rec in the fall, soccer. And I had a practice scheduled at 7 p.m. And on a particular field. And Miss Icono's daughter was being privately coached by someone on the field. And I said to her and the coach, and I said to them, at 7 p.m., I'm taking over because this is my place to coach. He proceeded to come to tell me, do you know who I am? I said, sir, I don't care who you are. At 7 p.m., I have the designation of this field. Did I judge him at that point? He could have wanted to look like a superstar in front of his daughter, and so I didn't make a public complaint. I chucked it up. I said, okay, I get that field, and that's it. So I gave him a second chance. He should do so for Tommy. And this just shows there needs to be transparency in the process. We need to have recourse. You can't just fire someone without a process, especially given that we're human. And Mr. Icono was human that day, and I forgave him. I didn't take it personally. I didn't petition for him to get fired for using his power to take over a coaching time that I had with Belleville students. So don't judge Tommy, just how I did not judge you. Thank you.
Amen.
My name is Dennis Massaggio. I've been playing baseball with Tom since I was 4 years old. And at the ceremony, you were so happy about all the teams that he made and created to try to support this year. Why would you try to fire him for no reason? And I love Tom. He made me a better player than ever, than any coach actually. And he actually taught me something that I did not know in my actual life. Who are you going to replace someone that good for now? Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else? Nobody on the phones? Try again. Anybody on the phones for public commenting?
Yes, hi, this is Latrice Goodwin. I'm at 23 Terrace Place. I'm the mother of my son Bryson, who spoke there with Alzira, that's present with you. And just wanted to speak because Tom is the best person, like he's the greatest person in Belleville, you know, and he has been there not only for the children but also the parents. He has a great impact on both, you know, the children and the parents. He comes to every single game. There's not a game that he doesn't show up for, or any type of support that he does for both children and parents. And he even, you know, goes above and beyond to help all situations with children and parents as well. You know, as if the parents have any type, you know, they have any type of issues, you know, he makes sure he goes above and beyond to you know, fix those issues. And I mean, he's just you know, just like everybody else said, he's the kindest, most respectful person ever. So I don't even have enough words to say about Tom. It's so much, and I'm very heartbroken that happened to him. And I just ask that you bring him back because everybody needs him.
Thank you. Do we know if there's anybody else on the line? No? What's that?
My name is Rocio Tan, and I'm from 304 Division Avenue. I think we need to all understand is what is the reason, how things are, how the decisions are made here. Not only about Tom, but also about champions. I don't think it was in favor of any parents here, because I know.
I just want to pause, I'm going to pause your time. I'm not going to interrupt you at all or take away from your time, but Champions is a school district issue. We have absolutely no say, no authority of the school district. We have nothing to do with Champions.
I understand. Going back to Tom, then, how are decisions made? If you don't know and you don't have control of it, then how do we trust you? We voted for you. Everybody here is voted by the people of Belleville. So your positions can be gone too.
Sure.
So we need answers. We need to understand why and how things are decided here.
So I've kind of addressed a lot of these already before, but this was a matter of personnel, township manager's decision. As soon as the township manager has the ability to speak on it, I'm sure something
But
will be
as you
said
can
about it.
see, his position was very valuable. So I think it should be considered and be given back to him, because he's the only person that has been able to do the job properly. And I don't know if it's even planned to be replaced or who's going to be replace him. Because if it's about the budget, the other person coming in will be paid as well.
True. Thank you. Anybody else?
Hi, Nancy Belleville, 200 Beach Street. I see this here tonight, and I'm like blown away. But I want to give you a good reminder. Back in, I want to say, late 1990s, Strumelo was a coach for Belleville football. There was a turnout like this. Zingari didn't get back in. So take this decision, see what's going on here. Don't take it lightly. Also, people have also raveled around Charlie Hood when there were significant fees that were put on for them to use the fields, and I know the community came out and rallied behind him as well. When it comes to our kids, Belleville takes it very seriously. So, just whatever the reason is, I hope it's a good one. A true HR reason, let's put it that way. So, I give all these kids a lot of credit and a lot of these parents. I give you a thumbs up.
Thank you.
I really do. Next, I would like to bring up a situation that's going around my house. I had emailed Anthony. Anthony, thank you. Animal control came out. I have a serious problem in the back of my backyard where PSE&G did their construction. I have groundhogs everywhere. She had 2 litters. They're going in and out of the pipes for the drainage, for the water, for their retaining wall, my retaining wall. I paid $250 for animal control to come out. My dogs are not cheap. They're $3,000 a pop. I have 3 of them. He grabbed the groundhog and literally popped its head. I took him to the vet today. He got shots. I can't keep on shoveling. We need animal control out there. We got a serious problem back there. Also, with PSE&G being said, I'm a little concerned about their fence. Their fence has the hook. It comes straight up and hooks this way, and there's points. It almost looks like an arrow. We got deer. They love to hop those fence. I'm afraid that one's going to get caught up on that fence. It's not going to be pretty, and it's not going to sound pretty either. So maybe if they can cut those, maybe cut them off. I don't expect them to change the fence. It's an expensive fence. But at least cut it down, do something. And then also, I spoke to PSE&G. They said that the town of Belleville was gonna put the blind, the screen. Have we come up with a decision with that? Because they said that the town of Belleville was gonna handle that?
Yeah, that's incorrect information, but the town manager did get an update yesterday or today about what they're going to do. That's not township, you know this. You've been
I
in the
know
meeting.
that, but that's what was,
Correct information.
okay, that's what they
But we do have an
communicated.
answer on them. It came today.
Okay,
You got an answer today on the type of screening. We'll have that conversation offline about the type of screening that they're offering and how much money they're putting into that.
okay, all right, because they said that Belleville was, that's what Lachey had told me. Okay, I just wanted to.
But we do
that's
have an
why-
answer for it.
That's why I came today, one of the reasons. The next thing that I wanted to discuss was, there's a rumor, I try not to take too much credit in a rumor, but I have to bring it up because it is a concern of mine. The new buildings that are going up on Washington Avenue by ShopRite, sorry, old Pathmark. I heard that they're only allowed one parking spot. I lived in a high luxury apartment. I was able one parking for part of my rent. Anything more, I had to pay for. So there's usually a couple married. There's always two cars. We don't live in the 1940s where they drive around with one car.
I do need you to wrap up. I'll give you the answer real quick. So
Okay.
we subscribe to the state, Brian, the state code or the state where it dictates how many parking spots. What's it called, though, the state? What's that? Yes. There's a formula the state has. We are more strict than the state.
Okay.
We require at least one parking spot per bedroom. We do not have dens. These are mostly studios and one bedrooms. So obviously, no children are going to be in there. But we are more strict than what the state asks us to do. And
Okay.
there is extra parking for visitors as well.
Okay,
And
so
to
if there's,
Wrap up, though, you're out of time.
so if there's let's say there's a married couple and they have two cars, where's that second car go?
More than likely, they're not going to live there because the outside parking would be such a huge hike for them to get back to the apartment. That's why it's designed that way. All the parking is contained on site.
Okay, I doubt that, but
Anybody else?
okay.
Anybody else with public commenting? We're going to wrap up. The motion to, where? Oh, I'm sorry. Thank you, everybody, for pointing.
Jamie Duque, 8 St. Mary's Place. Good evening. I wish I had something else prepared, but I just wanted to let you know that in this room there is multiple generations here. I played high school soccer here. I played with Charlie Hood, and I was employed by the town here in this building as well as for Tom Acosta. So I just wanted to let you know that Tom is an exceptional man. We all respect him, and more importantly, he respects all of us. So I would implore you as someone who's in a position of power to please revisit this decision and please reinstate him. That's all. Thank you.
You did a great job. Thank you. That's the public commenting. Sir?
All right. First time up here. My name is Kirk Cologne, 176 Geraldman Street. Also a volunteer coach for Belleville. I graduated class of 09 here in Belleville. Went to school 3, the middle school, high school. Throughout my whole years, Tom, for recreation director, he was the greatest. I'm speechless. I just want to say, I hope whatever it is, we can look over at it and come with a solution. Tom's a great guy. You see with everyone here. And for me to still be coaching and want to coach here for this town, it's because of Tom. I did it because of him. I have 2 kids. I'm not doing it for my 2 kids. He showed me what being a coach was like and just being myself, I hope we could bring him back, and thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Have somebody on the... I heard somebody on the line. We have, am I unmuted? We have anybody on the line for public commenting? No?
Our motion to close?
Anybody else? Last shot. Good. I heard a motion to close and a second. Clerk, call the roll.
Cosarelli? DePena?
Yes.
Graziano?
Yes.
Notari?
Yes.
And Mayor Melham.
Yes, so that does close public commenting. I do know that there's at least one or two people. Mr. Iacono, yes or no?
I'll defer to the council first.
Councilman, you want?
Yes, please.
Okay, yeah.
If I may?
Yeah, so we've closed public commenting. We're going to move on in very short order to the rest of the business of the meeting, which is the resolutions on the consent agenda, and then actually a budget hearing. So I'm going to allow Councilman Graziano to say a few words. Anybody else wants to say a few words? Then we're going to take a quick pause, just to, if you don't want to stay for the rest of the business of the meeting, let you guys exit, and then we'll regain to continue the rest of the meeting. Councilman Graziano.
Yes, I'd just like to thank everybody for coming out and sharing your concerns. But I also want to tell you, the mayor sat here and told you our form of government. That said, sitting as a council member, I too am privy to the information, especially in this one, that comes up forward. So I don't know, still don't know to the time today, as you would know. I ask and request going forward, because we do have our, they voted us in. You know, we should do the right thing going forward for a lot of things and have transparency, have conversations, have things prior to anything happening. Even though we do not hire, we do not fire, we do not do those things, the mayor's right. But all magnitudes, as respectful, we all sitting up here should have knowledge of something prior before a tough decision's made, or a good decision or a bad decision, or right, wrong, or indifferent. So I feel what you're saying, and I mean, I'm close to a lot of the children here through Belleville, as you all know. But yes, I too was, and still am, in the dark, as you all are. So I just wanted to share, and with my fellow council. I don't know if my fellow council members know.
So, yeah, I mean, we're here to have a conversation. As I said, public commenting is over. We could have that conversation. I believe, I know that the township manager either immediately after or just before sent an email out to every member of the council.
Correct.
I believe he called you. You're the only person that received either a call or a text on Friday.
Key.
And then he
Saturday.
mentioned to me that 3 or 4 times over the weekend he tried to reach you and couldn't reach you.
Correct.
Okay, I just want to make sure, but you
Correct,
can't say you're in the dark when you only answer the calls.
Just to be clear, leaders transparent happen up front, they don't happen in the back. So all I'm trying to say was that.
Anybody else? Good?
Before if that's okay too.
You're out of time.
Wow, that was fast. I do want to thank all the parents, as a parent, as an educator, and as a mother. I want to thank everyone for coming out today and just really taking the opportunity to teach your children how to get involved. And I want to make sure that all the children know that sometimes in life, we stand up and we say all the right things, and still the outcome is not what we might want. And that's also, there is also a lesson within that. As parents, I think it's important that we are able to allow them to feel the loss of whatever they might be experiencing, but also giving them the opportunity to be fair, understanding that sometimes the version of a person we know, and this is on a very personal matter, the version of a person we know doesn't necessarily reflect the version of the person that other people know. And that's also valid. And with that being said...
No. Ma'am, you're not going to disrupt this meeting. You're not, okay? You guys had your chance to speak. This is our turn now to speak. We didn't interrupt you. You're not going to interrupt us, okay?
Thank you. I also want to make sure that we are all respectful of all the decisions that are being able to be made. Understanding, as I mentioned before, there's a reason why you are here, and it's because you believe in democracy, you believe that your voice will be heard. And I don't want you to be discouraged if whatever outcome we are unable to share with you, because also respectfully as an employer, you have to protect people's privacy. And sometimes, as I mentioned before, you might not know all the details and you might not be able to share because it is our job to protect the person's decency, to protect their testimony, and you might not know, you might not ever be able to know. And I just wanted to make sure, because I care for the children, and I want to make sure that they walk out of here still believing in democracy, still believing in that you do have a voice. So with that being said, I thank you all for being here. I thank all the parents for being here, and I thank the manager for making the difficult decisions, because as the CEO of my company, I do the hiring, I do the firing. I know it's not easy, and there are not decisions that we make sporadically. These are not decisions that we make out of nowhere. There is a process to make those decisions. I wish I was able to have more answers for you, but today I just want to care for the children's soul and their heart, and I do want to remind the parents that they're watching us, how we react to things. We are the ones that have grown up. We are the ones that have the ability to teach them the emotional intelligence that they need at this moment. So I am expecting that all the adults will be able to model that properly for the children. Thank you for being here tonight.
Are we good? Anybody else want to say a few words? Sure.
Good evening. By now, I'm sure everybody knows who I am, and certainly, on a very sincere note, I thank everyone for participating tonight. It'd be very easy to sit home on your couch on a day like today, but you're here, and I appreciate that. Perfectly clear, under this form of government, there's so many things we can say and so many and more that we couldn't say. But most important, the mayor and council, which has expressed, they have, they're the policy makers. They make policy. As a town manager, I make day-to-day decisions. I hire, and certainly we make changes. I can assure you, the days that I hire people are much more easier and friendlier than days that, unfortunately, I have to make change. And Tommy's not the first change that was ever made in Belleville, and unfortunately, just changes. But I want you to leave here understanding one thing. There's a process. As much as I have not been able to, because it was Friday, and we went into Memorial Day, have not had the opportunity to speak to the council as a whole, and we can't speak about personnel until we go into executive, and I'm sure we will do that in the near future, okay? So in fairness to them, but again, they're policymakers. I take full responsibility for the day-to-day operation. In this process, there is community feedback, and I can assure you that I've sat here, I took notes, and I listened. So yes, I appreciate your community feedback. Okay, that will be part of the process that will unfold. And again, and I say that very sincerely. Understand, people spoke about Tommy as a coach or a coordinator. So certainly we'll allow the process to take its course. But again, it is important that you leave here knowing that as the town manager, as the responsible party that makes the day-to-day decisions, I definitely have heard. Thank you.
So thank you all for being here. We're not ending the meeting. I am going to ask for a motion for just a brief recess. You're more than willing to stay for the entire rest of the meeting. It would be great if we see a lot of you stay, actually. But we do understand that you might want to break and take the opportunity to exit. We are going to come back to handle the rest of the meeting, which is our consent agenda and a budget hearing, and then we're going to adjourn. So I am going to ask the council for a motion and a 5-minute recess. We have a motion made and second for a 5-minute recess. All right, we are recessed. Can you just mute? We're still in an active council. Okay, everybody, we just took a brief recess. We're going to go on with the rest of the meeting as soon as the doors in the back are shut.
This butter tastes awful. It tastes very plasticky.
Oh, no, one more. Okay, everybody, it looks like we're going to go on now with the consent agenda portion of the meeting. Anybody? I'm fine with everything.
Green.
Tommy? Eagle eye over there? Anything? Now we're good? Well, I'm giving you an extra minute. Put your glasses on.
Come on, no, that's not okay.
Put your glasses on.
Yeah, exactly.
It might not be after R, it may have been like K.2. Give it a good look. Need a motion for the consent agenda.
Second.
We have a motion made and second. We are all on mute, and this is live, right? Okay, good. We have a motion made and second for the consent agenda. Clerk, call the roll.
Councilmember Cosarelli?
Yes.
DePena?
Yes.
Mike's on,
Graziano?
please.
Yes.
No, Vinny. Okay. All right. Let's do deputy mayors all over it. A motion to reconvene after the recess.
Second.
He's all over it. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Anybody abstain? Maybe if I abstain, you don't? Okay, we're back in from recess. I need a motion to move the consent agenda.
So moved.
Motion made and second to reintroduce the consent agenda. Clerk, call the roll.
Councilmember Cosarelli? Yes. DePena?
Yes.
Graziano?
Yes.
Notari?
Yes.
And Mayor Melham?
Yes.
Consent agenda is approved.
Now we're on item number 15, new business. There was a notice for an ABC hearing, but that notice, that has been pushed back forward, I should say, till Wednesday, June 12th, 2024, at either 12:30 or it might be a half hour earlier. But that's not happening right now, so we're pushing that forward. And in its place, we punted earlier on a resolution on item number 5, so go back to page 1 on your agenda. Item number 5 on the agenda, which is Resolution 149-2024, authorizing the, I got it, go first, or? Okay, well, we're at number 5 on the agenda. Go ahead, Mr. Clerk.
Mayor, this is the time fixed for the public hearing on the 2024 municipal budget. The budget was approved by the mayor and municipal council on March 26, 2024, and was advertised in full as required by law, together with the notice of hearing for this time. Mayor, I have Resolution 149-2024 regarding the reading of the budget by title only. Can take a motion?
Vinny?
Approve?
Offer the foregoing resolution.
Mike, your mic on? Mike, I want to get you on the record with this budget.
Yeah, I offer the foregoing resolution and move for its adoption.
All right, I need a second.
Second.
We have a motion made by Deputy Mayor and a second. Clerk, call the roll.
Councilor, Member Cosarelli?
Yes.
DePena? Yes. Graziano?
Yes.
Notari?
Yes.
And Mayor Melham?
Yes.
Resolution 149-2024 is adopted.
Resolution is adopted. Before opening this hearing, I wish to outline the procedure. Each person desiring to be heard will rise and give his or her name and address before speaking. I will recognize one speaker at a time in the order of rising as nearly as I can determine. Address all questions to the chair where necessary. They will be referred to the individual members of the Township Council or municipal officials. Questions must be confined solely to the municipal budget before us. School and county members are not proper subjects of this hearing and cannot be discussed or answered here tonight. I now declare the public hearing on the 2024 municipal budget as open. Anybody have any comments about the budget? This is the budget, Ms. Fleischman. So this is the second year in a row we've done this, so let me maybe answer a question before anybody else has it. This is the second year in a row we've done it this way. Traditionally, and I was on the council 20 years ago, traditionally we introduce a budget, we vote on it, we send that down to Trenton, we wait for their comments. Sometimes we don't introduce in the past until July or September. We wait for their comments, we come back, and on the same night, we have a public hearing and we vote for final adoption. Here, in this case, as you heard, In March, when we did introduce, which was basically on time, we also published a public hearing. This is the public hearing. We're not voting on the budget. The budget is still in Trenton. If they come back to us with no changes, this is the public hearing, and eventually you'll see just the resolution on the agenda to approve it. If they come back with changes, then we'll have to physically vote to make some changes and have another public hearing. So this is the public hearing if all remains the same as what Trenton currently has. So in the future, like last year, they came back, they were okay with it. We just had a resolution on the agenda in the near future because we already had the public hearing. So this is the public hearing on the budget that was introduced in March. Maybe
Mayor?
that answers a question or two, I don't know.
Mayor, to follow procedure, we need to take a motion to open the public hearing.
We did. Yeah, we did. Yeah, we did. We did.
No, we did for the, to read by title
For
only.
the resolution, reading by title, so he doesn't have to read the whole thing.
It was by
All right.
title only.
Tell me what we have to do.
We need a motion. I need
Make
a
a
motion and a
motion.
second to open the public hearing so the public can speak on the
Make
budget.
a motion to open the public hearing for the
Have a
budget.
motion, and have a second.
Okay.
The roll call. Councilmember Cosarelli?
Yes.
DePena?
Yes.
Graziano?
Yes.
Notari? And Mayor Melham?
Yes.
The public is.
We stopped right here.
Okay, I'm going. I'm just gonna say, there's 27 of us in the room here. Come on, kids. All right. In regards to this public hearing, on the budget. First of all, the agenda was not put up on Friday. It was put up yesterday, late, which not cool. And the copy I saw last night, this was on it, about the public meeting, about the budget at all. Can we answer that question? Why?
Yeah, it was, I'm sorry, the notice in March stated this date as advertised.
Okay.
Mr. Attorney.
Yeah, the only requirement is that you published a notice of the hearing, which is which was done properly according to the statute in 2 different newspapers. That's all that it was also posted on the town website, and the hearing, and it was published on April 11th. That's all that's required. When I saw it wasn't on the agenda, I said, put it on there just for informational purposes, but it's not required by the statute. All that's required by the statute is the notice of hearing be published in the newspaper, which it was.
And we're not taking any action on anything today.
And, right, there's also not any action, but the hearing itself
Again.
has been published.
Everybody always says transparency, transparency. That's fine, but truly transparent. And again, I understand you do your due diligence and by posting things in the, but again, going off topic very briefly, again, print the full agenda.
Thank you. Anybody else for public hearing on this and this?
To do with the budget.
All right.
Charles 95 Bell Street. The only objection I have here with this what she just said, because this afternoon I purposely didn't print out the agenda till 2, 3 o'clock. I said, there's no budget here and there. When I got here, I was making my notes looking at the budget itself. And I said, oh, they must have postponed it because it's not on here. Because a lot of times I print it out in the morning or over the weekend, then when I get here it changes. So I purposely waited, and now
We got it about 3, 4 o'clock as well, the updated.
yeah, so, if like I said, I waited till almost the last minute, but when I got here, if that would have just put the impossible budget, I would have been more prepared or would have had my questions. But I'm just going to ask one simple question about council expense. I don't have the line item, probably I was starting to look at it before I left. I would have printed out the whole package myself.
Our CFO here, Mr. Numbers. We have our CFO, Mr. Numbers.
Yeah, the council expense, I have a question on that.
Albert?
I know what the salaries are.
Okay, just bear with me 1 second here.
You're going to say we should increase the council pay?
No, you'll hear my comments.
Curious, I don't know.
Well, you criticized me for raising my what was it? In 2000, you criticized me for raising $3,000 to $6,000 salary, like I did something big. You remember that?
You doubled your salary.
I doubled my salary, right? Well, big
I haven't
number,
got,
huh?
I haven't got an
He
increase in
wants
6
more now.
years.
He doesn't want to tell you that.
I haven't got an increase in 6 years.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Okay, now, on the council expense, what do you have for council expense?
We introduced that 25,000.
25,000. What does that include?
The company called Jaffe Communications, that's the...
That comes out of the council budget?
Yes.
And what else?
Anything other miscellaneous that they...
Okay, so if I look at the, what do you call it, the health benefits per individual, whoever's taking them, they're about 25,000 alone. So that technically speaking, the budget should be higher.
No.
You should budget more. No?
No. Benefits are not departmentalized. They are captured in one line item for the entire township.
Okay. All
Under
right.
group insurance, that's all departments. Health benefits cannot be allocated out to per department.
Okay.
They're bundled together.
All right, where does the police escort, when the mayor is chauffeured around, whose budget does that come out of?
Well, I'm not aware of any police escort for the mayor, so I don't...
Well, it has happened.
Well,
And the use of vehicle, what
which
budget
vehicle?
does that come out of?
Use of what vehicle?
The vehicle that he drives, the mayor.
His personal vehicle, I'm sure it comes out of his pocket.
No, it don't.
It doesn't?
It's a town vehicle. It's parked here. It's a town vehicle.
No, I'm not aware of anything.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Where does that expense come out?
He drives a
Fleet
town
management,
vehicle?
maybe? I don't know.
Yeah.
I'm not aware of him driving a town vehicle.
He
If did-
drives a town
if he-
vehicle, that's
if
gas
he-
insurance.
Excuse me, you asked a question, let me answer.
Yeah,
If he
sure.
drives a town vehicle on town time for township business, to get the cost of the vehicle is charged to capital, the expenses are charged to gasoline or any other vehicle maintenance line, like every other township vehicle. So if he does use a township vehicle for township business during township hours, that's where it's charged to. Okay? If you ask questions, I have no problem asking questions. Give me a second to answer.
I'm not even saying a word. Go ahead. You must be looking at my lips, but they're not moving.
Okay, continue.
That's it. You answered it.
Okay, anybody else? Mr. Frantantoni? Frank, nobody yet has asked how much the budget is. I mean, I get it, it's not,
Maybe yes, go ahead.
I know the details aren't big here on this budget hearing, but
It's 84 million, it's much too high. I just want
Should you just
to
name and address?
remind you that
Name
I
and address for the
came,
record first.
the what?
Name and address for the record.
Vincent Frantantoni, 129 Mount Prospect Avenue, Belleville, New Jersey. I just want to remind you that I came to Mr. Iacona's defense a while back when the mayor was chastising him in this very room that he had to either fire or discipline the construction code official. And then he says he's got no control over personnel. You remember that meeting? We have it on tape.
where I said to fire somebody, I'd love to see that actually.
The construction code official, and we're in the lawsuit now.
I'd love to see
Because
that.
of you, we're paying for a lawsuit he has against you now.
Frantoni, this is about the budget, okay?
I know that.
And if you have proof that he told Anthony to fire somebody, bring it here.
Especially
You
if it's on
always
tape.
say stuff that you
Yeah.
can't support, so bring it here. I'm not going to let you do that at this meeting. This is a budget meeting. Talk about the budget.
I'm prepared to talk about the budget.
Well, then start doing it. You've been up there for 3 minutes and you haven't said anything about the budget.
We'll start with, I think it's too much. On sheet 4, surplus
Hold on.
anticipated.
Hold on, let me get there. Okay. Surplus anticipated, 3.5 million.
Right. So you anticipated 3.5 million, and we realized 3.5 million in cash, which goes back to we didn't need that money, that resolution you passed for that 3.5% extra levy every year that I complain about.
No. One has nothing to do with the other. One has nothing to do with the other. The one you complain about is an appropriation cap, which is also known as the 1977 cap. It's a 2.5% by default, and they can raise to 3.5% to bank any amount that they're under for future years. Anything that's unexpensed expires in 2 years. It's a safety net if they don't use it. So they're not doing it necessarily to spend it. They're doing it to set up as Plan B for 2 future years.
Yes, and I appreciate it. I've been doing this for many decades, and not only the town,
Me
the
too.
county, and the state. So
Me
we
too.
keep putting this extra money in case, and all we do our pockets get emptier and emptier and emptier. We've got the, and I was there, and the town treasurer comes to me, you didn't put enough, under the commission form, I have my own budget. You didn't put enough in your budget. You go, what if they get a big raise through negotiation? I said, good, layoffs, I'll deal with it. So we don't.
I don't mean to interrupt you. I have no idea what you're talking about right now and where you're going with this. Do you have a question about this? The appropriation cap, I kind of understood your question. It has nothing to do with the levy or anything like that. So you asked about the appropriation cap. The last time you were here, I explained it to you. It is not for spending purposes necessarily. It's a safety net. It will expire in 2 years. It expires. It drops off. You can't use it anymore. If they don't use it, it drops off.
And do we get a tax reduction?
That's just the spending. That has nothing to do with that side of the equation.
Okay, Mr. Di Maria.
Yeah.
This is the time for questions and comments.
Okay.
So I'm making a comment. It don't necessarily requires a response from you. I'm making a comment to the council to rein in the belt, tighten the belts. I don't need an answer from you on that comment. That was not a question. I have other questions.
Mr. I need you to continue, please. I want to answer all your questions. Let's
So.
go.
The parking meters. Last year, we took in 45,000 and
Hold on, we have a revised figure.
sheet 4 also.
Can you just hold 1 second?
Need 3 hands, Frank.
Yeah, I know.
How about you want to hold it?
Can you buy me a stand, please?
No, not in the budget.
Well, this isn't going to be a question, it's going to be a comment. So,
He at least wants to see your figures.
Go ahead.
all right, so now we're anticipating 100,000 for this year. Again, like I said previous, we got to allow coins to go in this meter. There was 3 occasions where I was down my old laundromat, a lady seen it, and she was mad that the coins weren't able to be used.
Mr. Frantantoni, can I, there's no time limit, so that's fine. I just want to ask you a question. Last year's revenue from meters was
45,000.
And this year, we're expecting over $100,000.
Right.
People are using the meters. People are not complaining about the coins. We're almost tripling the amount of revenue. If we went down in revenue, you would be the first person there saying, why did we go down in revenue? But we're going from $47,000 to over $100,000 in revenue. Clearly, like my mother, who's upset she can't put coins in, and I hear it all the time, don't get me wrong, but clearly it was the right call because we're more than doubling the revenue. Something that you should be proud of, actually. No.
Okay. Well, I hope you understand the difference between a question and a comment. I'm trying to make a comment, you guys keep interrupting me.
Interrupt you. We're having a conversation about it. I also make a comment.
Okay, fine, as long as we're willing to have a conversation.
Always will.
On this. But the other thing is, on a couple of occasions, on the avenue, one of them again, going down to do my wife's rugs at my old laundromat, in December, a customer, an old customer goes to put I said, sir, you don't need it. It's Christmas time. No, you failed to put bags on the meters. And I think it was intentional. People were putting.
This has
nothing to do with the budget.
Mr.
Ads on the meters
Iacono, this is the time for questions and comments.
No.
Not about the budget, not about meters and bags on meters.
Not about bags on meters. Not about bags on meters.
It is not about the contents of the budget, Mr. Frantantoni. It's not.
One of the reasons you have an increase in parking meters because you failed to tell the people that we were giving them free parking over Christmas.
No, that's not true. That's not true. We're not even allowed to put a credit card in, Mr. Frantantoni. You are wrong. Please don't spread misinformation. If you've tried to put a credit card in during that time, it would reject it and say the parking is free.
And it also said Merry Christmas from Mayor Melham.
It did say Merry Christmas from Mayor Melham and council, I believe.
Again, on sheet 4, on the interest on investments and deposits, we made 2023 $50,000. We're going to make interest of $360,000. On what money is that interest being earned?
All of our accounts. Valley Bank has given us a preferred rate and pools all of our accounts together and gives us a very considerable rate on all of our deposits. So there's 20 some odd accounts with normally over $50 million combined, and that's what we make.
Okay, let's go to sheet 7. The questionable shared service agreement with the Board of Ed. We're receiving, I guess it's the payment on that loan we took out from them, $1.19 million in principal. And the interest, can I have an answer? Last year, the interest was $291,000. Now, I believe we must have paid off a little. Why is the interest almost doubled to $535,000?
I'm sorry, let me just.
Sheet 7.
Okay. The band that we got last year, the rate that we got was higher. I'm sorry, last year's was low, the rate we got was lower, this year would be higher.
We're paying a higher rate.
Paying a higher rate, but the Board of Ed pays for it. There's no cost to the town.
Well, the taxpayers pay for it, bottom line. Sheet 9, Clean Communities program. I see we're getting an increase on that and all that. I was the coordinator for the Clean Communities. One part of it, if I recall, and last year I checked, it was still the same thing, 5% of that budget is supposed to be used for advertising the program. I don't see anything in the newspapers. I don't see it. What I used to do is we had bumper stickers, we had signs all over town, we had recycling garbage cans telling you to recycle and all. What are we doing, or are we doing anything to advertise the
I believe there's
recycling program?
printing or something on the garbage cans and the recycling cans.
Yeah, it says it on the cans. I don't want to answer for everyone, but I just know that part of it is the recycling cans.
I don't see it. We had separate recycling receptacles when I was in office, bought from that program. I don't see any of these all over town.
We still have them.
Where?
They go quick.
It's the blue, it's the blue recycling.
No, no, no. I'm not talking about in the homes. I'm talking on all the public properties,
No,
like other towns have. You have one for refuse and one for recycling. I haven't seen one at all on any of our public facilities.
Okay.
Well, are we going to start using that money for what we're supposed to use it for? Are we going to put
We have to,
these
but by law, actually.
At
Might not be
public
a bumper
places?
sticker, might not be a bumper sticker, but
I'm
we
talking about-
we do use it. We would not be getting increase after increase year after year if they weren't happy with the programs we were doing.
Well, I have to know about it because I had a little argument with them because they don't check on other towns. So put out some, at our public facilities, some cans for recycling, and we could save some of our garbage fees. On sheet 10, and again, this is not a question, there's a comment related to some of the comments I made at the public session. We have a business agreement with Comcast and Verizon. So once again, I ask you, we're getting money from them, that's nice. Once again, can, to the town manager or to the council, can we address this problem of what I call the black spaghetti all over town? It's, you know, and it's horrendous. They're all hanging down. The one that was 5 right by my driveway pole, my neighbor would complain, just loose
Mr.
cable.
Frantantoni, I need your comments to be on the budget, not
All right.
black spaghetti.
Well, this is an opportunity. So
You
please
solved the problem in an hour and a half, you
have
said, when
the-
you called last time.
Have to. What are hospital bed fees? It's $489,000.
It's I might not be saying this correctly, Steve.
That's a bed fee?
This is the bed tax, this is the
we
statutory,
did.
the legislative bed tax that came into play.
Exactly. That's the law that changed, it's probably 3 or 4 years now, where the hospitals advocated for a
Tax
change in
exempt
tax breaks, and they now do it by bed in the hospital. That's what that is.
But are we receiving that money?
Yes,
All right, for the hospital,
no, from
But-
the hospital.
From the hospital.
from the hospital. That's crazy because that's another cost to the poor person who's sick.
Even though it's revenue to us. Let's play to find the worst possible outcome of every scenario. Yeah.
Well, it is. It's just like when people say tax the corporations. Corporations don't pay taxes.
Tony, that was a tax established by the state of New Jersey. These members of mayor and council here did not establish that bed tax.
I'm not blaming them.
So if you have a complaint about that, do it there, not here.
And I will. I asked for an explanation, Mr. I don't know why you're so defensive. I asked for an explanation. I was just on the phone Thursday with 3 legislatures. I call them all the time on matters. Now that I know about this, I will call them and object to them.
Okay.
And see if they get it, because the poor sick person is paying these things.
Not the first time it's been our budget, Mr. Frantantoni.
Also on sheet 10, the reserve to pay debt. Now, whatever this is, it went from $363,000 last year to $2 million this year. What debt are we paying?
All right, this is, when we incorporate or we do a capital ordinance, and there is a grant attached to it, all right, we have to spend the money first to get reimbursed. So what we do is issue bonds and notes, we go out and borrow the money, pay the contractors, do the improvement, submit the backup to wherever it's to whatever state agency, Department of Transportation, federal government, CDBG, whatever it's going to be, and then they reimburse us. We then have to pay down the debt on that. That's a revenue coming in.
And it increased that much? Which, do you know which project this is for?
That was the, I'm sorry, it was a, here before, it was completed before I got here, but they call it the stadium. It was a DEP grant for your state, municipal stadium.
The Green Acres?
Yeah.
The Green Acres Stadium grant?
Stadium grant, yeah, 2 million. Actually, it was 2 separate ones, $1 million each.
Correct. And on sheet 10A, again, I'd like an explanation of the water utility fund.
Right.
What was the administrative cost reimbursement of
Okay.
$300,000?
The salaries in the tax department, which consists of 4 people, okay? Their time spent, their time handling water-related items is half of their time. This is 25% of the cost of their salaries.
So
water pays to current to cover their time. It's less than half of what it actually is.
So you're putting it in the municipal budget and not in the water budget?
It is in the water budget.
And
It's on the appropriation side of the water budget. It's a revenue to current.
Right, but this is on the municipal part. I didn't get to the water budget yet.
That's a revenue and current that you're looking at. When you get to water, you'll see the appropriation for the exact same amounts.
This is not the first year we've done this also, Frank, right? We've done this.
It's not the first year.
Let's see. The sheet 12, the mayor and council.
Wait, let me get that. Hold on. Okay.
Other expenses have been doubled from 25,000 to 50,000. What's 50,000 needed for?
That's the Jaffe Communications that they went with.
To make up the.
Public relations consultant.
To make up the public relations calendar?
To make it the what?
The annual calendar?
Not the Jaffe
The township calendar.
His
Jaffe
work
doesn't do that.
is, I don't assign work to the guy that's handled.
Jaffe does not do that.
Oh, but is that paid for by this $50,000?
Frank has a footnote for next year. I think you should put that under my account.
Put it back in the manager? Okay.
Why it was moved, I don't know.
So, well, if it's for that calendar, I object to it because it gives us no information
It's not for the cost of the
anymore.
council, it's the cost of the consultant.
Yeah. Sheet 13, computerized data processing.
Right.
I always understood if we went to technology, it was going to save us money, but once again, we're going up from 600,000 to 750,000.
There was, well, is that the question? Is that a statement? Comment? Is that a comment or a question?
Well, yeah, I don't know why we keep going up every year. It went from 600 and 615, now it's 750,000.
Well, as I explained previously, all of the IT and media-related stuff is being combined, moved out of the individual departments into this. The increase here from 6 to 750 represents equipment that was necessary to be purchased, infrastructure-wise. The infrastructure, in the cabling, cameras, things like that, all the hardware-related stuff and the consulting to set it up for the first time is included in there. That's why there's a bump in there.
So how long does our equipment last? Because we always got more expenses, you know.
You know, so with those I do, you buy a computer, it's old, so to keep up with it.
All right, sheet 14. There's an item here that says MEL, M-E-L, loan payoff, $93,460.50. What's that? What does MEL
That
mean?
says Municipal Excess Liability Fund. Okay, there was a loan that was provided to the town. I'm sorry, I'll break this up. The loan provided to the town, I'm not exactly when it was issued, it's for a case.
Long before us.
Portalit, I'm sorry.
Portalon.
Sorry?
Portalon, that was back in 2016 or 17.
We had 10 years to pay this off, we're paying it off early.
What was it, a lawsuit? It says loan payment.
Because it had to be paid off. The township didn't have the money, so the JIF loaned the town the money to pay the lawsuit.
That's been in every budget for the last,
Yeah, that was
Predates
back
me.
in 2016 or 17, I believe.
predates 2018.
Predates almost everybody here.
Do we know what the lawsuit was about?
It was
got
an
the name.
employment lawsuit. Had to do with her employment.
A town employee. Thank you. Sheet 15. The planning board, other expenses, going up from $45,000 to $200,000.
Right.
What's that?
That's reallocating the attorney for our redevelopment attorney out of legal. It's required to be in planning board, and our city planner is required to be out of planning board, not where it was being charged to.
So Frank, those are not new
They're
expenses.
not new expenses.
Just
they're-
being shifted
they're
around.
Shuffled around to the correct department now.
All right. I think we should defund the planning board. They're destroying our town. That was a comment. The sheet 15. On sheet 15, I think this is DPW, streets and road maintenance, DPW, superintendent's office, building and grounds,
I'm sorry, sir, which sheet are you on again?
15B.
Oh. Okay. Go ahead.
So, in a way, I'm happy because they're all dollar reductions, but when I look around town, the conditions of our roads, why is all these other things, legal expenses, all these other, they're not going up like crazy, and here we're cutting DPW
Well, I can tell you that.
when we need it?
All right, well, the DPW, probably all of these OE lines, since we introduced, we've gotten price increases, and there's going to need to be money added to these OE lines. They're insufficient. I don't know off the top of my head how much. You could check that when we do the amendment, but these will be going up. So it's not like some departments went up and DPW is going down. It's not the case.
All right, because
You'll see an increase in the amendment.
again, I don't mind taxes when I see the results and the good services that we receive from them. But this is one, and these are some of the small, I see millions of dollars here. These are all in the hundreds of thousands, and they're going down, and we need our roads repaired, and properly.
So you're okay with the increase when we introduced the amendment, Mr. Frantantoni?
It depends if you explain what the increases are for.
Okay.
You know, and again, this is something I have been saying for years, because this council and prior council, we can't introduce a budget because we don't know what grants we're going to get. We can't introduce a budget because we don't know how much this is going to cost. But like you just admitted, there's an amendment process. You can introduce a budget on time, and then if you get more grants, it's called an amendment. You add on, or like Mr. DeMaria said, if you need more for DPW, you can amend the budget.
That's
So there's no
exactly
reason
what we've done for the last
years.
couple of years.
Yeah.
Right, years and years we were not here. The years we've been here, we've introduced basically right on time.
Well, it hasn't been on time in February or March. It was supposed to be.
We introduced in March this year.
We did.
I mean, you can't,
Oh,
calendar doesn't lie.
15C, Mr. DeMaria.
Okay, I'm there.
The mayor's green team.
Yes.
$50,000.
Can I ask a question? Why is it called the Mayor's Green Team?
That's on the budget.
I swear this is a conspiracy against the mayor's office, the mayor.
That's the name they asked for.
Who's the they?
Your green team.
I don't have a green team. Vinny put the resolution on today to improve everybody. Why is it called the Mayor's Green Team?
I can change the text if you want, Mayor.
Put it in the manager's office.
Okay.
Belleville Green Team.
I mean,
Public
really?
Green Team. Okay.
Mayor's Green Team. I didn't put the resolution on to appoint the 6 people that were on today, by the way. I don't know where that came from.
That was, we never did it actually back in.
I know but it's got the mayor's name on it.
Okay.
That was just housekeeping.
We'll have a change of text and title for that.
You're right.
Well, 2 point, I got a question and then a comment. The question is,
Just for a point of fact, that's not new money, that's moved out of DPW.
huh?
It's not any new money, that's just moved out of DPW, so that someone on that team has access to go, so they don't have to keep bothering the DPW.
And can
to
you
see what-
define that someone? Because that someone is not the mayor, Mr.
It's
CFO.
not the mayor.
Thank you.
It's not the mayor.
All right, so it's question and comment. The question is, what is the 50,000 needed for?
Well, they do the planning boxes, they do activities, they sponsor a lot of stuff.
Arbor Day.
Arbor Day, there's community garden, upkeep in the community garden, they bought a greenhouse, there's a lot of stuff they do.
Mulch.
But it's not anything new, it's stuff they've been doing, it's just been buried in DPW. So the members of the team would have to go, and most of them appear to be volunteers, they have to go after hours and try and get in touch with DPW people to get purchase orders and then do purchasing. So this segregates it. We gave them a login, we gave them access to do requisitions, they could do their own, and this was the carve out.
Why can't we have a green
So-
team line item then?
That,
Green team line item.
that's what this is.
Oh, okay.
That's what it is.
So that was a question. The comment is, I don't see this needed because when I was on, we celebrate the 150th anniversary. All volunteers, we encourage people. We planted 10,000 tulip bulbs, which we got donated. We planted hundreds of trees, 200. My wife grew in the backyard. The Star Ledger did the whole article. After those initial 200, she went on for several years, another 150 some odd trees, gave them to people all over town and all this. So if we're truly volunteers, let's do what we can do. We never spent the money on beautifying the town back then. And we planted all over towns, and she was written up in the Star Ledger, all these people. It got so popular.
Fran Antoni, we can't have a speech on back in the day of the great, we
Well,
need to ask
that's
questions.
why
about
I
this
think this item can be taken out of the budget.
Noted.
If we claim we're all these great volunteers. Let's see. All right.
Nothing nice.
On this 15D,
Delta, 15 Delta, you said? Okay.
15D, yeah. Salaries and wages for the recreation services and programs.
Right.
That's going up from 680,000 to 900,000. Now we're charging,
Well, the appropriation from the previous year was understated because they ended up spending 896,000.
so now we're at 900,000. And the other expenses, 175,000, what is
That's right.
that for?
That's for administration. The programs are run through the trust account, The fees go offset the materials and supplies. This is for the administration. And it can also pay for supplies and materials if they want to.
And sheet 19, the total appropriation from municipal purpose, once again,
Wait, hold it.
well, it's going to be a comment.
Okay.
It's going up $3.56 million. Too much increase for the taxpayers.
Well, just as a response to the comment, that's not all tax levy. There's grants in there that are direct offsets. So to compare just the spending line without comparing the funding sources that support that spending is not, I think, a correct statement or comment. You're giving the appearance that their discretionary spending is going up by that much. It's not. You've got to look at the funding sources. The tax levy is only going up X amount of dollars. There's other sources. There's a $2 million one-time revenue in the revenue side. That's included in this side. So to make that statement is misleading.
Well, the reason I made this statement, after so many years, I've seen all these things where you get a grant. You know, you get $1 million grant and all that. So you justify it like you said, well, that isn't actually spending local taxpayers' money. The problem is, when those grants go, we never see a reduction. The same way with bonding. You know, we bond 5 years, at the end of it.
I understand
we're
what you're
still-
saying. I've done a few budgets myself. Most grants are not, you're not able to supplant programs anymore. Those days are gone. It has to be, you need to pay for your regular items out of your current budget. These grants are designed for the above and beyond and one-time items. What you're referring to is trying to lower your operating budget by utilizing a grant. They don't work that way anymore. I've been doing this 44 years. I know those days. They're gone. So to say that that's a misleading part, you're wrong. I'm just telling you. I don't mean to be disrespectful. I'm just telling you that misdirect. It's wrong. They're not designed to lower operating expenses anymore. They're for additional spending, separate and apart. It's for the extra stuff. Everyone now, federal, state, county government makes you pay for your own items, what you need to carry your departments. You want something extra, apply for a grant. It's got to be something above and beyond.
I understand that. But what I'm saying, if you get the $100,000 grant, it shows up in the budget as an increase, but then the next year you don't get that grant. I understand that.
Sides of the equation come
But
out.
the budget don't go down.
Well, then
That
something else is
respective
triggering.
amount.
Then something else is triggering.
Yeah.
Your grants have to be in balance. They're required to be. Trenton is not going to let you put in a one-sided grant.
So, all right, let's move on to sheet 20. And again, it's going to be a comment because it shows Essex County getting their 5% portion of the pilots that get a medal. But once again, I object to pilots because we're cheating our schools. They get nothing from these pilots. So they're Jersey City, and I think Clifton, I forget which other North Jersey town, have ended their pilots. They don't want to give pilots no more. It's hurting the taxpayers. And this is an example. The town gets 95%, municipal, 5% goes to the county, and our schools get none, so they raise our taxes. And we're getting a big tax increase in the schools. Pilots are no good for the taxpayers. These wealthy developers, I've got a couple of their deals and all that. I think it was the Cortlandt Street thing. I'm reading his financial report. He's going to make millions, and yet we're giving him tax relief. I don't understand it. We're getting to the end. On sheet 24, it says L.
Hold on. 24, what, 24A? Which one are you on?
No, just 24.
Okay.
It says L Developers Community Benefit Payment for 2023. There's nothing for 2024.
Right.
But $450,000 what community, what was that
That's
for?
paying Plant's Park contract.
That's for Plant's Park? There's 2 line items,
That's last year's. Those are
Same-
2020, those are 2023s.
both of them.
Yeah, they came in 2023,
So the 450 and 450, that's 900,000.
and another 600,000.
Both for Plants and
All three for Plant's Park.
Park. Okay, let's see.
The L is for local.
I think we're getting to the end.
Somebody from Britain or something. International.
And sheet 28,
Hold on.
special,
Wait, hold on.
28.
Okay, I'm there.
It's just a special emergency authorization.
Right, 5-year emergencies.
509,000. What was that for?
Those were for a retirement incentive program that was apparently done here. Preceded me, but the 1/5 is $509,000.
Oh, that was,
Extra would be paid off.
so that was the bribe to get all those 14 or 15 people who retired to make your budget look only a $39 tax increase. So that's where we're paying for it, huh?
No, that's not what you're paying for, that's
And
what
it
you're
was,
raising.
I got that paperwork through an Oprah.
Not where you're, let me finish. That's not where you're paying for it, that's where you're raising it.
That's where what?
Raising it by taxation. You've already paid it,
Yes, I know that.
apparently years ago.
I know. And when I opened the paperwork on it, the one column, which I never saw that word before, was called incentive. And then when I found out the truth, it was really meant to be a bribe. And when I talked to one policeman who retired at a baseball game, when I said bribe, he says, "You're right." All right? To get.
Here we are.
to
They can
make-
come and get us anytime, Mr. Frank
Huh?
Antoni. Clearly, it wasn't a bribe.
You used the word incentive.
Yes.
So I used a different word, meant the same thing, you know?
It doesn't. No, it doesn't.
When-
Maybe in
when-
your world, sir.
When you give a guy his unused sick leave, that's legitimate. When you give him his vacation time, that's legitimate. If it was only for 1 year, you're allowed to carry over. But then when you have another column, says incentive, I've never seen that before. In my language, in my experience, that means bribe. And then when I brought it to the newspapers.
Very incorrect, sir.
And sat down with the publisher and a reporter, they said, "Oh my God, you're correct and all that." But then a phone call was made and they never published my letter.
Mr. Frank Antoni, we're not here for conspiracy theories. Do you have any more questions about the budget?
That's facts, and you prove it here.
We're still all sitting here. They can come anytime and get us.
All right, I think that's, all right, the one thing I didn't say, I think that's the end, is I didn't see what the projected tax rate and tax increase was.
I don't have the rate, it's $98 on the average assessment in Belleville. 300 and, I'm sorry, is it 285,000 the average?
287.
287.
287, how much?
$98.
$98. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else for the budget hearing? Questions on the budget specifically? No? Anybody on the phone for the budget? Can you unmute us? Anybody on the phone for the budget? No? Ma'am, one last, go.
I'm a little confused about something. Maybe you can educate me on it.
Try it.
With the new buildings that are going up.
I kind of need a question on that document.
Oh, you need it on the document?
Yes, it's the budget
Okay.
hearing.
All right, because it's about our school systems.
Nothing to do with this budget, unfortunately. But we'll answer that
So
next
can
meeting.
so if there, my question is let's say there's more kids that go into the.
There's not.
Okay.
There's not.
I'm concerned.
Yeah, as a taxpayer, I've spoken on this topic for years. There are zero. Ma'am, you have to understand and you have to listen to reason. Numbers are numbers. The new buildings are generating no children. None. Documents? No. You can't just for you. Yes, I can, ma'am. Yes, I can. Franklin Avenue, I can give you the addresses. Franklin Avenue on the Nutley border, 58 units, not one kid. I could tell you that 22 units across from Whiskey Creek, 28 units across from Whiskey Creek, not one kid. Why? Because they're one bedrooms and studios. 247 units on Silver Lake, only 4 kids. These units are not generating school kids. They're not. There's numbers there. You can take the address and you can open the school district and you can find out exactly what we did. Exactly what we did, how many kids go out of that address.
I just see a problem, that's all.
You see a problem. It's not related to our new buildings.
Okay.
Thank you. Anybody else for public hearing? Yes, and then you come here, Ms. Frantantoni, you want to play the address game? You pick an address, and then you come here next meeting. You don't want to do that? Okay.
I know the whole thing.
Oh, okay. How about you check Franklin Avenue on the Nutley border?
You check all the illegal apartments.
That's got nothing to do with this kind of typical misdirection, ma'am. That's not this conversation. This conversation about the new buildings.
Conversation either.
Okay, fine. I get it. Motion to end public commenting.
Second.
Where are we now? Hold on, Steve, we're not done. No. We need a motion to close public hearing?
Motion.
Motion made.
Second.
Councilwoman DePena. Roll call. Councilmember Cosarelli? DePena?
Yes.
Graziano?
Yes.
Notari?
Yes.
And Mayor Melham?
Yes.
The public municipal budget for 2024 is closed.
Okay, motion to adjourn, is that where we are?
Motion. We gotta do the next
Oh.
one. There's one more line.
One more line. You do it. Right? Okay. Mayor, I move that the adoption of this budget be wait, no. We're not postponing. No, we're not. You were not adopted. Okay, so what are we reading?
So we're good.
We're not reading. We're
Somebody
good.
tell us what we're doing next. Somebody
Yes,
advise
what are
us
we
what we're
reading?
doing next. Motion to adjourn. All in favor?
Aye.
Any abstain?